Hi, welcome back to the Your Cleaner Windows YouTube channel. Thanks again for tuning in and for watching this video. So today's topic I'm going to talk about is how to organise a window cleaning round. I haven't done a video for a while, just sat in the van chatting, so I thought I'd just put one out there today. Now, when I started my business up 4 years ago, I was keen to start a business like this because window cleaning happens on a recurring basis. So you get a customer to sign up and you will regularly clean their windows. So that means you're not always looking for the next big job to do. You've got that window cleaning in the background that you can do, and you build up a decent enough round and you've got that ticking over. You can earn some reasonable money, but you know it's there when you need it. It's always there, and no matter what happens, you've got your window cleaning round. But the problem is, when you start getting a lot of customers, is how do you organise that round, and how do you sort it out so it's efficient? And it's took me a while to learn some of the little tricks that you need to know, but I thought I'd share my opinion with you today. I'm not saying I do it right, I'm just going to tell you how I do it, compared with how some other people do it. And hopefully, if you're new to starting a window cleaning business, hopefully this video will be helpful to you as you go on that journey of building up your work and you have to get organised with what you're going to be doing. So when I started, obviously I started to get customers, but they were sort of spread out across a whole area of Plymouth. I had them like a few miles apart, and it didn't matter at the beginning because I had very little work. But I would drive to one job, clean it, then I'd drive maybe 10 minutes to another job, clean that, then drive to another job 10 minutes, and probably only doing about 6 or 7 jobs in a day maybe. But there was a lot of driving involved, so I wasn't actually earning that much money. Most of the time I was spent driving around to each individual job. But as the jobs started to come in more and more, you start seeing that maybe certain areas of where you live, you start getting more jobs in those areas, so it makes sense to put those jobs together on the same day, so that you can pull up, do a job, and maybe drive 1 minute to the next one, or even better is to park up and do 2 or 3 at once. So that's the ideal situation. So as your work grows, you have to start separating them out and moving them about, and it is a bit of a headache at the beginning to try and get things sorted. You might have some customers that get done every so many weeks, and then you've got other customers that get done on a different number of weeks. So you've got to kind of work it all out so that it all fits together. So something that's very common in window cleaning is that people do a 4 or an 8 weekly cycle. So for example, you start on Monday, this is obviously when your round's full. You start on the Monday, clean the windows in a certain area. 4 weeks later, on the Monday, those window cleaning jobs are due again, so you would go back and do them again. Obviously that is everything, if everything goes to plan. We'll go into that a bit later on. And then you might have some that are 8 weeks, so you might do them on that first day, on the Monday, but they're not due again for another 8 weeks. So you might have some due in 4 and then some due in 8. Another quite common way of doing it is 6 and 12 weeks. So not quite as regular as 4, but 6 is quite a good compromise, because a lot of people think 4 is too often, every 4 weeks, but 8 weeks is maybe not often enough. So 6 is quite a good compromise. And then some people will obviously ask for a 12 week, which is about 3 months. I used to do that. I used to have 4 and 8 week cycle. But what you find actually is some months have more than 4 weeks in them. They might have 4.5 or nearly 5 weeks. Just depends how the month falls. And you'd find that you were going back to the customers that you were doing on the first day, they would get done twice in a month. And a few people said to me, hang on a minute, you've already been this month. And I'd say, oh, well, you're on a 4-week cycle and it's been 4 weeks. So I started looking at that and thinking, you know, if it's every 4 weeks, it's 13 cleans a year. But people necessarily don't want that. So me personally, I'm used to paying my bills at home every month. So your gas, your electric, water, etc. You pay it every month. Even your car insurance and your home insurance you might pay on a monthly basis, even your car tax, that sort of thing. So I decided pretty early on, probably after a few months, that I was going to actually change it, and it was going to be the frequency of cleans that I was going to offer was 1 clean every month or 1 clean every other month. And that means that people are getting 12 cleans a year if they're on a monthly subscription, but they're not getting done twice in a month, and it seems more fair to them that they get it done monthly. They're used to paying a bill like that, so it made sense to me to do it. So the other reason why I did that, I had some people were asking for 6 weeks, some were asking for 4, some were asking for 8, and I just said yes at the beginning and took them all on. But at some point, a 4 and a 6 week clean, as you go through the cycle, they clash on the same week, and suddenly you'd have a week where you had extra cleans to do that you couldn't get done, and maybe it's in a time of year when the weather's not great and you're struggling to get everything done. So it just didn't work for me. So that's why I went for every month or every other month as the frequency that I offer. But what I actually do, and it's probably from when I started doing 4 and 8, I actually plan my window cleaning each month over 4 weeks. So I have the 4 weeks that you get in a month, because every month, even February where we are now, has 4 weeks. So I plan my work over 4 weeks. If it happens that the month then has an extra few days that go into the next week, and then the next month starts and you might have a few extra days from that month, so you get a week where you've got sort of a crossover in the months, I use that week to book in some bigger jobs. So someone might have asked for some gutter clearing, or you might have a conservatory roof, or certain times of year people ask you for these extra services, and if I can, I try and plan a lot of them on those weeks where it's sort of crossing over. And then I have like a mega week where I'm doing a lot of these extra jobs, but I know my window cleaning from the month before is done, and I know my window cleaning for the next month can get done because I've still got 4 weeks, if that makes sense. The other option that I might look at if a month crosses over in the middle of a week, so 2 months crossover, is I might end up having a week off. So I did that last year. July, the end of July finished on something like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and then August started obviously the next day, but I had a week there, and I took a week off, and we went on holiday for a week. But I knew that July's work was done. I'd done all the window cleaning that was booked in, and I still had time to do all of August. It didn't mess up the cycle, and yeah, that's just how I work. So I think also something that I do, I don't know if everyone else does this, but if a job is always done in the first week on a Monday, I always try and get it on a Monday in the first week. I have certain days where I go to certain areas, and I always go to that area on a Thursday, for example, and it might be 3 of the Thursdays in a month I'm in a certain area. I think it's Plimpton is where I go to, and people get to know that it's always going to be the first Thursday of the month unless you let them know otherwise, and people get to know your schedule. And I've had people message me and say, I know you're due next week on Thursday. They already know before I do when I'm next due to visit them. So I think that's just me, really. I like to keep things on the same day. The only time that I actually change that is in December. So I squish all my work up in December and try and get it done in 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks. And there's cleans on different days to usual, but you know, I send a text out the night before, so I let people know that I'll be coming on a different day to usual, and everyone's fine with it. Now, what I should mention also is when I say it's done, I've got 4 weeks of window cleaning, I don't actually have 4 full weeks of window cleaning. Generally speaking, it's either 3 or 4 days, normally 3.5, something like that, of window cleaning that I have booked in. This leaves me a day and a half a week where I don't have window cleaning scheduled, and it's not always like half of Thursday and Friday. It might be a Tuesday, it might be a Friday, it might be a Monday. It depends what week you're on in the month, and that works quite well for me. And then people ask me, oh, next time you're around, can you clean all the fascias for me and the gutters, clean them all out, give my conservatory roof a clean? And all I can do then is look at my schedule and say, oh, you should be on a Wednesday, but actually Tuesday's free, so I will come to you on Tuesday. I'll do that whole job, and then they end up being on the same sort of week in the month. That's just how I like to do it. Also, you get people phoning up and they might want a one-off clean of windows, gutters, fascias, conservatory roof, you know, complete transformation of their property. And I can look forward like a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, because generally things are booked up sort of 3 or 4 weeks in advance, and say I'm free on this day or this day or this day, whichever suits you. And I sort of give them a choice, so they might have a Monday the first week, a Tuesday the second week, and they can pick which day is convenient for them. Sometimes people like to be around, and when you're there, and they might not work on a Wednesday, so a Wednesday works well for them, so you can book that in. And that's just how I like to work and how I like to organise my round. Now, I know some people that watch this video and other window cleaners, if they're on a 4 or an 8 week schedule, they are literally full for the 4 weeks. And if you get bad weather, or you get something happen, or you have to book in a bigger job, everybody gets moved on a day. And then you might get 2 or 3 days in a row where the weather's bad and you can't work, and they'll move them on 2 or 3 days. So then the people that are 4 weeks end up being nearer 5, and it seems like you're always late, but that is just the way they do it, and their customers are used to that. If I get bad weather, for example, I try and either do the work that was due that day the next day, or I try and sort of split the jobs up over the next few days depending on what area I'm in. So I might add an extra 2 or 3 cleans per day onto the next few days until we're caught up, or occasionally I might just move that day to a Saturday. If the weather's better, go out, blitz a day on a Saturday. It's just got to be done. I never like to be late. People aren't on my schedule are never late. They're always done on time every month, and I think that you get a good reputation for that. People realise that you are actually regular, you will be there when you say you're going to be there, and if you've got a problem, you let them know, obviously. But yeah, I like to keep it rolling over, and it really stresses me out when you get days where you're late or you're ill or something like that, and you've got to catch up. But you know, over the last 4 years, I've probably had 2 days where I haven't ever caught up, and I've had to just sort of let them go as such and say, look, I'm not going to make it to you this month. It was particularly around when my wife had a baby last year, and I obviously didn't know when I was going to be there, and then she wasn't very well afterwards, so I had to take some extra time off, and I went out and did all the cleans that were every other month, because I didn't want to change them to the following month. But the monthly cleans, just let people know and said, look, I can't come this month. Most people are understanding and appreciate that you're honest with them, and that you let them know and you didn't let them down as such and just not turn up. So there are other things in your window cleaning round you might want to think about. I personally text everybody the evening before they're clean. I just say, hi, I'm coming to clean your windows tomorrow. If you're not going to be home, can you make sure all the windows are shut? and can you leave the gate unlocked for me, regardless of whether you're home or not. And then I turn up, the gate's open, I'm in, I do the clean, I leave a little receipt for them which has my bank details on, and they pay me either bank transfer, or they might pay cash, or other ways. We'll go into that a bit later on. And that works really well for me. You do occasionally get people say, oh, don't come this month, but generally speaking, they normally have a good reason, like they're away on holiday, they're having building work. That's really the only two reasons, or they're in hospital, the only reasons that I will accept that why I can't go and clean. But the fact that I've texted them and they've let me know means I haven't wasted a journey to their house. They've said I'm away on holiday, I just know I got to miss that one out, and carry on as normal. Occasionally people will say, look, I'm not around, I'm away, we're having building work, could you come the week after? So I will always try and schedule them in for the week after if that's what they've asked for, but I do let them know that although it's been a week later, it won't be a week later next time, it will be back on schedule. So the next clean will be slightly closer together. I'm not going to have them ruling my schedule because they want to change the date of that clean. So I try and stick quite rigidly to my schedule, and if they want to move it about for one clean, then they go back to normal the following month, and that, I've never had a problem with that. Talking about payment, oh yeah, when I started, I was like, you can pay however you want. So I had some people paying by check, which is fine because you can pay that in through your banking app anyway. I had some people paying cash and some people paying by bank transfer, and I also said there was go cardless option, and most people wanted to do bank transfer or cash. But then what I found is I'm quite generous. I give them 5 days to pay. I know some people say they give them like 1 day. I give them 5 days because sometimes people just need to wait until their payday to pay, and you get to 5 days and they still hadn't paid, and then it's 6 days, 7 days, and I'd send them a message and say that your window cleaning payment is due, or it's overdue, and then you'd be waiting again and waiting again. And slowly over time I've got rid of most of those people that would mess me about like that and not pay on time. I had someone that used to pay me literally the day before I was due to go again, so he's always one payment behind. But my policy is I don't let them go more than one payment. So if they gets around to the next clean and they hadn't paid, I'm not going back, and I just send them a message and say I'm not coming back until the payment is, till the debt's paid, and then we'll start again. If they miss their date, then they have to wait until the following month. It's just how I've done it, and I don't want to have 3 or 4, 5 cleans where they owe me £100 or something like that, and I'm chasing the money all the time. So now I've got rid of all the bad payers, most of them that I have. But now any new customer that joins my round, I put them straight on go cardless. That's just part of the policy. I say the payment is through go cardless, this is the link to sign up. I'll schedule you when you have signed up and it's all filled out. I had a lady yesterday message me on Facebook. Did I cover the area? It's really close to my house, so obviously I do. I sent her a link to go cardless. I said, this is the price it's going to be. That's from the website, you might have seen that. This is the link to go cardless. She came straight back with, I filled out the go cardless, it's all set up, I had an email, that's already scheduled and ready to go, and it's easy. And then I can, if you don't know what go cardless is, it's basically an automatic payment scheme. So once they're set up and they're signed up to it, when I've done the clean, I can authorize the payment, and then it takes it from them, and then 5 days later I get paid. So they get an email to say I've authorized the payment, and then I get paid. They do take a fee from it, but it is minimal 20p or something like that per transaction, and then 1% of the amount. So you are paying a little bit to have that payment set up and to be able to do that, but it means you are going to get paid. There's no chasing people for money. I wish I'd had that from the very beginning. I wish I'd set everybody onto that. It would have made my life a lot easier. So yeah, new customers go straight onto that. If they don't want to go onto that, then they're not really a customer that I want to take on, unless it's a friend or family that I know I can rely on to pay me. Any bad customers now that I get that are continually late with payment, they get a text to say that you're always late with payment. You need to go on to go cardless, and basically the window cleaning is suspended until that's signed up. Most people then sign up to it and say, oh, I'm really sorry, yeah, that would help me out a lot if there was an automatic payment scheme. I had one lady recently, I sent it to her, and then about 6 months later she said, oh, you haven't been around for a while. And I said, I sent you a text about it about 6 months ago because you're always late with payment. She said, oh, I didn't get it, I'll go and find somebody else. She obviously just wants to mess people around. She isn't interested in paying on time, so I'll let someone else have her. Hi, sorry to disrupt the video, but I just wanted to let you know that you can now support the channel through Buy Me a Coffee. So if you're enjoying the content and you want to give a little bit financially to just help me continue to make these videos, then follow the link in the description. Back to the video now. So yeah, how do you track your round? So I used to have spreadsheets, 8 pages of spreadsheets, which was my 8 weeks of window cleaning, and obviously if you were monthly you'd be on the spreadsheets twice. So I knew, and I used to write them all out in a diary, and then with the price, and then I'd highlight them as I went, and then when I got home I would then go on another spreadsheet and put them all in as I'd done them, and if they paid they stayed black, and if they still owed me they were red. And I'd have to keep looking back at this spreadsheet, and it used to take me hours and hours to transfer all this data. And then, for example, you'd get bad weather and then you'd have to move those jobs to a different day. You'd written them in your diary, and then you've got to write them and move everything around, and it was an absolute nightmare. My diary used to be a complete mess with things crossed out and things added, and it just didn't make sense to me. So I decided that I would get a cleaning software. So there are various ones that you can use: A Worker, Cleaner Planner, Squeegee, Get Soapy I think is one. There's various ones out there that you can use, and I decided, I had a look around, and some of the bigger companies that were using Cleaner Planner. That seemed like a cheaper version than some of the others. A bit more basic, but does what it needs to do, not too much involved in it. So I decided that I would sign up to Cleaner Planner. I think I did it, I think I've been on it about 3 years now, Cleaner Planner. It does cost you money, but it's about £19 a month it was when I signed up. And I transferred all the details, so you get a month free trial, and I transferred all the details that I had. About 200 customers, put all their details into Cleaner Planner, when I was due, how much they owed, what the price was, how long it takes, their address, what round they're in, etc. And then over time you add new customers to it. And so, for example, today I've got the work scheduled for today. I'm on some 8 weekly cleans this afternoon. If you look on my Cleaner Planner, in 2 months, 8 weeks ish, 2 months, they're scheduled on the same day again, the 3rd Tuesday of the month. They'll be there scheduled, and it just continuously schedules them for you until you cancel them. So you can look and see where your work is, what days you got free. On the calendar you can move them around, drag and drop, so you can change them to a different day. It just makes it so much easier. I can book things in a year in advance, and a year or two in advance. Some people have booked in already to have something done next year. That's already scheduled in there, and I can just forget about it now until next year. Yeah, and through that app, it's really good. It tracks all your income, so you can see who's owed you, and you can mark off who's paid. Also, there's an expense sort of area, so I put in all my expenses in there, and then when it comes to doing your tax return, my accountant just logs into that software. He can look at the reports page, see how much I've earned, how much I've spent, what I've spent it on, all the different categories, and he can then do my tax return. You can also put in there where you've got the lead from, so it word of mouth, Facebook, Google ads, you know, anything. You can put anything you want really. Then at the end of the year you can look back and say, out of my all my work, I've done this much from Facebook, so you can see what's really working for you. You can also put in all the different services, so I have ones for residential window cleaning, commercial window cleaning, gutter clearing, soffit and fascia cleaning, and I can look at the end of the year and say I've done so much in gutter clearing. So if you've watched my review of last year, that's how I got all the figures of so many cleans of what I did in the year, and you can see how much you've earned from each one of those services every month or over the whole year. So it's really good at being able to show you exactly what you're doing. You can see sort of how much work you've got booked in for the next few weeks, and for me it's absolutely brilliant, and it's well worth the money. Now I come home, click a button, send my worksheet to the computer and check off anyone that's paid that day, and my admin's probably done in about 5 minutes. I know on that you can set up to send automatic texts to people, but I'm quite happy to send the text myself, copy and paste them. That takes like 5 minutes to do every day. But yeah, you can have it, you can do all your invoicing through it and everything. The other thing that I really like about it is I upgraded now to the like advanced level. So the customers I've got on Go Cardless, when I come home at night, I can just click one button, and anyone that's on Go Cardless, it authorises the transactions in one click of a button, does all of them. So if you had everybody on that, you could have 10, 15 jobs there. You just come home, click one button, and it just authorises all the payments for you, and you're done. There's no going in and doing it all individually. So for me, paying sort of £29 a month is well worth it. It saves me hours, and I can spend a lot more time cleaning and less time on admin, so that really makes sense for me. So yeah, hopefully you found that useful, this video. I know I've probably missed out something major when thinking about it, but if you can think of some things that you maybe want to ask how I do it, or you've got some ideas or things how you do it, then stick them down in the comments. It'd be interesting to see how other people work, and whether they work on monthly or 4 weeks, etc., and just really how they organise their round. But yeah, if you're new to the industry, you've just started up your business, I'm hoping that that's helped you organise your round a little bit and just get it so that it's as best as it can be. I always look at it over the Christmas to New Year time, and I will look and I will move people around a little bit within a month, and any that I have to move more than that I will let them know. But I try and think there's a gap on that day, I could fill it with some work from another day, and over Christmas I probably save 2 or 3 days per month, and I've done that every year. So it's just optimising everything and getting it working really well. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm waffling now, so I'm gonna go. I've got to get on and do another 5 window cleans. They're all quite big houses. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.